Hey everybody, this is... Wait a minute. I don't go by King anymore online. I'm just Cobalt in a lot of places. Ah well, I'll keep the username, but... that avatar, that Minecraft face, that's gotta go. Now which of these to use? This is my newest one that I use everywhere else, but it's not really seeing any use on the channel. This, no way. And then there's this old one and a couple of variations. Let's go with this one. So yeah, I'm not dead. But my desire to do Minecraft Let's Plays is about as dead as the vanilla Go-Gurt server. No ill will to most of those guys, though. Okay, so on to the reason why we're here, which kind of ties back to the reason I created this channel all those years ago. A combination of doing silly things in games and some of my original content, which, looking back, is kind of what got the most attention anyway. I bet a lot of you are here because of the PortaPortal. But why now, all those years after abandoning Minecraft Let's Play and putting out that one-off TF2 video? Well, the answer is one word: demonetization. Now don't worry, I'm not going to go on a rant about it, and I'm not really all that affected by it because I don't rely on YouTube for money and probably never will. But as it's probably obvious, I do not have nearly enough subscribers to keep my monetization abilities after about a month from now. So, being somebody who simply doesn't like the idea of opportunities being closed like that, I decided to take my annoyance and see if I could turn it into anything productive. So I'm doing this as an experiment of sorts. I've got some original creations that I've made and not shared with anyone over the past couple of years, and I'm gonna try and show them off over the next month, see what kind of traffic this channel gets out of that. And, well, if you've read the video title, this first one here is a bit of a highly requested one. So, without further ado, hey everybody, this is Cobalt. And despite that bit of deception at the very beginning of the video, we are in fact starting in Hammer. So, you know how I said way back in that 2012 video that you can go watch now if you haven't already, basically at the end I said I remember making a PortaPortal in Portal 2. I made it, but then I forgot about it for a while. And in editing I added a remark that I had completely lost the file, so I wasn't able to show it off. Well, as it turns out, about a year and a half ago, I was browsing the files on an old flash drive of all things, and I came across a file called ship.vmf, and I remembered, wait a minute, I added that PortaPortal on a map that contained a ship. So I went and did some investigating. I loaded it up. Everything's fine in here. Now, let's see what's in here. This is the actual... Wait, am I in the right... Yes, this is the actual ship that this map is named after. You see, what this originally was a test of basically trying to make a confined space that was going to represent a spaceship in some map pack that would kind of act more like a mod. Essentially, the player would be on this spaceship, and then it would look like it was traveling through space. And because it was not supposed to be a very fancy spaceship, it was very small, but the source engine doesn't really do well with its physics, putting the player in such a confined space. But I guess I made the PortaPortal 2 around the same time because I went and actually dumped it on this same map. You see, over here is actually where the exterior of the ship is supposed to be housed, and I'm just kind of using some portal magic to make it look like the ship is there. But on the roof, we see an odd-looking contraption here. And this is, in fact, the PortaPortal 2. It looks and acts different than the PortaPortal 1, because I tried to make it a bit more tangible. One of the biggest problems that was caused by the first iteration of the PortaPortal is that it simply was really flimsy. It was just a single surface, which was really cool, but, like, it died if you threw a cube at it the wrong way. It also had some really wonky physics, especially if you tried to come at it from behind. And even if you came at it from the front, sometimes the portal would just close instead of letting you through. So I tried as best I could to remedy those problems by making the PortaPortal an actual physical object that you pick up, and when it's fully engaged, it actually acts as an actual freestanding collidable object instead of just an emitted field of sorts. Now, I don't remember exactly how it works. I didn't, go through every single entity on here. But essentially what it does is, I believe this original box that's the origin is in, I believe this is where it just keeps the blue portal on standby, and I think it's just supposed to spawn one whenever it shows up in the on this portal surface here. So what you do is this whole assembly, it's kind of large, but I've made it pick upable. As you can see, it's noticeably bigger than just your average cube, but in the source engine you can set anything is able to be picked up. And so far it isn't actually too big to cause problems. So essentially, I believe this here is the fizz box that's at the core of this thing. Basically, this is where all the physics goes, and it's the only collidable part of this whole assembly while the PortaPortal is being carried and otherwise disengaged. So I believe the purpose of this I believe the way this works is you're just supposed to pick this up, and then when you drop it down on a surface, these triggers on the foot of the device, if they are all in contact with the ground, then I believe it will basically go freeze the fizz box, wait a second, use this panel to extend this top part so that I get an actual portal high surface on the front here, and then open the portal. And I believe this one won't budge if you try and throw something at it. It will only disengage if you try to pick it up, which I guess is both good and bad. What I do remember is one of the most challenging parts of this whole setup is that the source engine doesn't have a general output that fires when a physics object goes to sleep. It has one technically for when it's woken up, but it's only the very first time it's woken up. For some reason, it never fires again. So basically, you cannot actually base any events on stuff that happens to a physics object just on its own. You basically have to use some sort of triggers. In this case, I just have some triggers parented to the object just sitting on its foot to detect whether it's stabilized on a flat surface. And it's not an exact science because it may be hitting the ground for a brief moment. Now, if it's being held, it will still not actually misfire, but if it's just thrown, there's a chance that it could still technically not be settled, but all the triggers are hit. So it engages at the wrong time. And I don't think I ever found a way around that. But still, this PortaPortal, while still I wouldn't call it practical enough to make a whole level around, it is a lot more reliable than the PortaPortal 1. What's this? This is the point template. Okay, this is the template for the portal surface. This is the entity maker, which apparently makes the portal template. I guess this is probably some workaround with how the portals spawn, probably to make it face the right direction. Because you gotta basically. Oh no! I think some of it is just to spawn the backing surface. This is what actually makes the portal able to be affixed to this, and then another is to spawn the portal itself, I guess. What happens is when this engages, the arm goes up. It basically connects these two brushes together, and a portal can't spawn on that as is. So what we actually do is we also spawn this no-draw portalable surface right on top of it. And that's what the actual portal spawns on. We also enable collision for this brush up here. That has a chance of just enabling spontaneously when there's an object in it. I could probably put a trigger to test if the object is in there or not. But and then just kind of not engage the PortaPortal if it is. But I don't know. I think I ran into other problems. Also, this is hollow, because if I didn't make it hollow, some objects that are going through the portal will actually still kind of collide with the front of this invisible brush. It's weird. It's this whole assembly is full of workarounds. What are the Yeah, this is disabled motion. I wonder if there's a way to I wonder if there's a disabled collisions. It's been so long since I've used Hammer. Also, what does this button do? I guess this just forces the PortaPortal to turn on? Or maybe I actually didn't get the placing logic right. Man, I don't even remember. This is some interesting stuff. Okay, yeah. Here we go. These are this is the counter that makes sure that all three of the triggers are on the ground, because each trigger will add to the counter when it's touching the ground and subtract when it isn't. Man, I wonder if I could make this better with some, like, Acorn script. I've never tried scripting in the Source engine, but I kind of wonder if I ever wanted to make this happen again, give this another attempt, because it's been, 6 years? If I ever wanted to make this happen again, I wonder if I could attempt an Acorn script, or a squirrel script. Squirrel, nut, acorn, I don't know. It's a language I'm not familiar with, but it's apparently what Valve decided to make Portal 2 able to run with. But yeah, I wonder if that scripting would allow me to get the PortaPortal a bit more functional, because I essentially have more access to the actual underlying code. One thing I'm probably not going to do is re-explore Project Graviton. I haven't actually done anything with that in the intervening years, unfortunately. As cool as that was, I ran into such a roadblock. It did not help that was the very first time I delved into C++. If I went into it now, I'd be able to do what I did do much better. But the biggest problem I actually ran into was dealing with the physics engine. There is not a good way to rotate the player's hitbox. When you try, you have like a 50% chance of just getting your player stuck on whatever geometry is around it. So you can't just spin the player's hitbox around to hug a curved surface that they're walking around with gravity. It will just get you stuck, and I just could not find a way to do it right. It would be so cool if I could, though. Oh well. Anyway, now that I've kind of given a look at the underlying map logic of the of the PortaPortal 2, I think it's time to go into the Portal engine and, well, give it a test run. Okay, I am in-game now. It is actually the next day. Now, just to make it clear, I am not, like, actually really expecting this to work. The whole, get my channel active again sort of thing. I just kind of am just seeing this as an opportunity to, just to put out some of my content and see what happens to it. Anyway, we're in this map now. And one thing I noticed the first time when I loaded this just to test is that these doors, somehow I lost the sound effect for them. So instead, when you touch them, you get...
No fiddlesticks. What now?
Kleiner.
No fiddlesticks. What now?
That's kind of amazing. Hold on. I think what this does is unlock this.
What now? No fiddlesticks. What now?
Okay. I believe... And then I've got no clip bound to right shift. And here it is. Apparently it starts off activated. So... it works. So this is the PortaPortal 2 in action. It's the size of a washing machine, but it does do what it's supposed to do. Now, when it's powered on, it has a pretty large hitbox. But like I said, how solid it is kind of an intended feature because of all the issues with one being intangible. So this is a fully functional portal. I mean, if you put something in it, it's reliably going to actually go through this time. And what you do when you need to carry it around, use it once to disengage it. And that's never happened before. That was weird. But, yeah. Great. This worked just fine when I was testing it before, but now it's decided to just totally glitch out on me. Wonderful. Something is not physicsing right. Oh no. I get the feeling this is one of the reasons why it was scrapped. Because something sometimes just gets out of whack. Like, look at this. I mean, I can probably still go through it, but... Whoops. But the PortaPortal is specifically not supposed to activate in this kind of condition. Okay, let me reload. Change level. Ship.
No fiddlesticks. No fiddlesticks. What now?
I swear this did not happen last night when I was testing this. So, you're supposed to just be able to carry it around. If you just place it on something else, it's not going to activate. If you place it weirdly, it's not. Oh, come on! Where are the triggers? I thought they're all supposed to be in contact with a brush entity, like the funk brush that is this ship roof. Well, that's a big confusion. Oh, great. Okay, I forget how you turn on I forget how you turn on the part that shows the triggers, because they're supposed to be like here, 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 and here. And clearly, the parts that would be those triggers are not touching the roof here. That's just very strange. But at least this time the PortaPortal is mostly behaving. It's supposed to engage when it settles on the ground, because at that point the triggers will be all touching something. And it's not supposed to engage when it does this. I don't know why it did earlier. Yeah, it's not doing it now. I don't know why it did it when I was touching the button. That is so weird. What if I drop it on this button? No, not like that. But like, ah. Yeah, it's like depending on how it falls. Ah! No, 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 no. No, do not. That's real strange. Unfortunately, there's not actually a trigger. Well, I guess I could add certain filters to the trigger and basically cover any surface I intend to use the PortaPortal on with a surface that satisfies that trigger. That will probably fix it. But that just means more work for mapping with this thing, which again makes it less than practical. See, this just isn't supposed to happen. You know, I really wish I'd put this in a proper sandbox level, because this isn't the most conducive testing environment when it's just on the roof of something that's so easily to fall off of. Really, the main bug in this PortaPortal is the activation logic. The portal itself, once it spawns, is pretty consistent. The only issue is because there's like so much free air next to that portal, some weird graphical clipping happens when stuff gets too close. Honestly, I think part of it is the fault of the shell model. I think the legs actually clip into the floor a little bit, and for some reason, when you're near a portal, that actually clips out of the portal. So really, it's a fault of the engine, and it's just kind of hidden with the fact that most portals are on solid walls. The engine already is kind of known to do, if you can see that, the cube is kind of clipping into the ground around the portal. That's already kind of a known thing the engine does. But it's just exacerbated a little bit by the fact that there's open air next to this portal that the wall is not going to cover up. What I wonder is, I bet I could pseudo fix it, just kind of get around it by simply making it so that all other portals on the affected level are only wall portals. So you can't step next to it and cause that. But that's still pretty limiting. It means it would be hard to do a portal jump out of this thing. Which is unfortunate, because like setting this up on like an edge, just wherever you want to put it, and then just falling into a floor portal and launching yourself off out of wherever you put the portal is pretty cool. I'd want to be able to do that if I was playing a level with this. Ah! Okay, now you see. That was the problem I was running into. Now I remember. If you let it settle and then grab it just as it's about to power up, it won't always cancel. And then you'll get it like hovering a little, and then it will activate. It will freeze in place, but it'll freeze in place the place you're trying to carry it, I guess. It's really weird, but this is just... It's really tricky to get the activation logic working on this. And then the whole clipping issue that you get with the feet. That's what makes this so hard to actually use practically. If it wasn't for those issues, honestly, the PortaPortal might be pretty viable. The size, though, it's so huge, so bulky. The tangibility definitely increases the robustness, but it also makes it more unwieldy. Like, I tried to make it especially as small as possible in its collapsed state. So I took advantage of the whole, the mechanical panel stuff that Portal 2 has. Unfortunately, they only get this small. This is the smallest I've got, and I've got it mounted in a really weird way just to make it look like it is extending properly and to fit it into a cube shape when it's not operational. I mean, it does work. It just doesn't look all that great. Now, if I forgo the panel and just, make it a bunch of brushes, it's gonna look a lot cruder. But on the other hand, it just I might be able to compact it more. It's kind of a trade-off to make it at least somewhat visually appealing. That it, actually uses models with animations and stuff. I bet I could make it almost as small as the PortaPortal 1 if I make it out of brushes and then have just a bunch of, collapsibility logic at work. It's just not gonna... It's just gonna be a little odd. Now, funny thing is, when it's disengaged, it will not try to engage again until you pick it up and drop it. So, in the meantime, you can actually nudge it. This is fully physical. It only freezes in place when it's deployed. You can't nudge it now. Which is a bit of a quirk, but honestly, it's basically by design. I've never tested trying to put lasers or the funnel tractor beam through this. Also, I don't think I've ever tested trying to put this through one of the prop portals. I probably don't... Oh, great. Oh, great. Oh, you know what I think? You see, there's a prop portal right here as the ship entrance, and I think that's causing some issues with this thing. I think putting it in the vicinity of this prop portal has caused some physics to fail on this thing, because some of the associated sub-entities might have gone through it. So note to self: don't try to bring the PortaPortal through one of these prop portal things, because this isn't really the ship interior. This is just a placeholder, and this part here that warps to the actual ship interior, it's a fake. Yeah, I might try and, like, bring this into a different map and see what I can do with it. Oh, is it working again now? Did it, like, fix itself? That's odd. Huh. Yeah, this PortaPortal in any version is just unpredictable. And I still wonder what kind of course I could build around it, especially considering its restrictions. Obviously, the device itself can only go on the floor. The player-placed portals I may have to limit to just the wall because of the clipping issues. And I need all the space to accommodate it. It plays nice with cubes, though, so I can put plenty of physics objects, probably turrets, and I can see lasers working fine with these as well. In fact, you could kind of use it as like one of those laser cubes, but you place a portal to redirect the laser. That would actually be pretty cool. I would have to do a lot of thinking. But I could see some kind of interesting puzzle designed around this thing. I just wish it was more reliable. That activation mechanism is so finicky because the source engine just doesn't give me a lot of information, and then it glitches out on other things, and ah well. If I can figure out the activation logic, this thing wouldn't be too bad. I could see myself maybe making just like one chamber based around this thing. I don't think you could make an entire map pack based around this, because just the idea of a standing portal placed anywhere, it isn't too practical, because why not just place a portal under yourself, you know? Also, how do you make a place where you don't want the player to be able to place this thing? Because it doesn't make sense to just make it so that the PortaPortal doesn't activate when it's on, like, the metal tiles or something. Yeah, this thing is gonna take some thinking if I ever want to make a course with this. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. I don't know if I'll ever actually do it, but I could see the ability to do it if it was ever possible to work out some of these activation kinks. So yeah, that is the PortaPortal 2, made in like 2012 and finally shown to the world in 2018. How's about that? Alright, well, that does it for episode 1 of the personal creation showcase thing I'm just kind of doing for now. Next up, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but I might visit some of my very old coding projects, stuff I learned in, like, my first programming class or something. Some of that isn't very interesting, but I could see some of it maybe being worth showing off. Alright, well, until then, thank you all for watching.